welcome back. Everybody wanna hate on Mr. I got money on my mind, Mr. Shedeur Sanders. I don't understand hate. Shedeur Sanders is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL draft this season. All because who his father is. They wanna hate on him. And that's what we're gonna talk about today in this video. Before we get into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. Make sure you hit that like button too as well. But make sure you subscribe. That's the most important thing over here. I'm on the road to 350 subscribers. I'm at 321 currently. So I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. But let's go and get into it. Man, the hate and the scrutiny that Shedeur Sanders been getting is like no other quarterback. And the thing that he had to withstand, that the type of obstacles that he had to overcome throughout his college journey and now throughout his college career is similar to the hate that he been getting. It's unlike any other quarterback. You look at the Cam Wards, you look at the Arch Mannings and all these type of quarterbacks in the world in the college football section, and they didn't have the type of obstacles and the type of thing that they had to overcome like Shedeur Sanders. We gotta remember, Shedeur Sanders, every spot he went to, he elevated his level. He elevated the trajectory of the program. He went to Jackson State and elevated them. He ended up going to what they call that, SWAC. Mr. You heard prime time when he first went there. They called themselves he is SWAC. So that's what I'm saying. He elevated Jackson State, made people want to go there, keep the foundation rolling, and set a tone and it set a level of standard that Jackson State had to play with. They left their imprint there. Went to played there 2 years. Went to Colorado, and we know what Colorado was before Shedeur stepped foot on the campus. They weren't talked about. They weren't heard of. As soon as he stepped foot on campus, they was the most talked about team in all of college football. Yes, more talked about than LSU, more talked about than Alabama, more talked about Ohio State, more talked about than Notre Dame. All these other team, more talk than the Georgia Bulldogs. And these are Power 5 schools. And little old Shedeur Sanders, he changed the whole trajectory on that program. Now, I just want to read off some stats. Well, a lot of people talk about, Shedeur this, Shedeur that, he can't do this, he can't do that. But what about the things he can do? The things he can do, in which he can deliver a accurate football. He got good passing mechanics, good quarterback mechanics. He got a high level of football IQ, knowing the game, doing all this and that. And the last thing, most importantly, he's a winner. Because this is what a lot of people need to get out their minds. And just because you didn't win a national championship, or you just didn't win, you just don't have a trophy behind it, they don't make you less of a winner. They don't make you not a winner. Once you go to a program and you won more than the program is used to winning, and you set a whole new franchise record, you set a franchise history, then you lead there with a mark, you set a standard for yourself and for that type of program, that's winning. Like I said, bro, Colorado ain't went to a bowl game in years. And look, his second year being there led him to a bowl game. Now I just want to read off some stats. 2 years at Jackson State, he was almost 7,000 passing yards. 2 years at Jackson State, 7,000 passing yards, 70 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He had a 68 passing completion percentage. That's elite right there. 2 years at Colorado, he had 7,300 passing yards, 13 interceptions, 71.6 passing completion percentage. So that just lets you know he can throw the hell out the football. He can pass, he's very accurate, and he's low turnover prone. Now let me keep going. He set the record for most passing yards in the season at Colorado. He set the record for most passing touchdowns in the season for Colorado. Most passing yards in the game for Colorado. He set the record for the completion percentage for Colorado. He did all these things while a lot of people like to say that he's not a winner. He's not this at quarterback. He's not this. He's not a Cam Ward. He's not this. He's not that. He's not this. But what about what he is? A lot of people want to focus on what the person is not. That's why a lot of things be going wrong. Because you focus on things what they not instead of what they is. Everybody not gonna be perfect. But the thing that I know about Shedeur Sanders, he's a winning player. Good IQ. He loved the game of football, willing to get better. And he showed that every stop he went to. Like you said, a lot of people, they hated him when he was at the HBCU, saying he wasn't playing against competition. Went to the Big 12 and put up better numbers than he was at the HBCU. Led his team to a bowl, led his program to a bowl game that they haven't did in years. And he only was there 2 years. And so you gotta let that sink in, bro. You gotta understand the type of adversity that he had to go through, bro. Cam Ward and the Arch Mannings and these other quarterbacks didn't have the type of offensive line that Shedeur Sanders had to do. He put up these numbers with that type of offensive line, and there's no disrespect to the Colorado offensive line, but y'all wasn't the best, and we know that. Bro, he was fighting for his life back there every snap. That man was running for dear life. I'm telling you, he was still accurate with the football. Getting it to him at precision, accuracy. He might not have the strongest arm where he can't do all this. He might not be the fastest where he can just scramble and do all these things. But what he is, he's an excellent pocket passer, good game manager, clock manager. He's good at knowing the field, knowing the personnel. He's good at delivering the ball on time and on target. Shedeur Sanders, he deserves Shedeur Sanders to me deserves to be the #1 draft pick at quarterback. Not saying that he's better than Travis, not saying he's better than this and that and this and player. But when it comes to this draft and you come to selecting a quarterback, there's no doubt in my mind Shedeur Sanders is the best available quarterback in this whole entire draft. Because Cam Ward, look, you mean to tell me Cam Ward was sitting back here on planting his feet, relaxing, scanning the field, throwing passes. Shedeur do that, he would have been dead. That's the difference between Cam Ward offensive line and Shedeur Sanders offensive line. But this video is not about comparison to Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders. This is strictly just about Shedeur Sanders, and I don't understand the hate. People want to talk about him patting the ball, doing this and that. Man, he getting the ball there. Y'all talking about that he gonna be. I seen a post somebody talking about you doing all this patting the ball. Man, we gonna be picking it off, taking it to the crib. Well, I'm gonna just say this. He led the college football. He had one of the fewer turnover quarterbacks in all of college football. So why they weren't picking it off then? Now I understand there's levels to this. We talking about college versus NFL, the best of the best versus, some of the best in college. But the thing is, bro, other quarterbacks did it. Other quarterbacks got away from it. He said he watched a lot of Tom Brady. He picked up on a lot of his tools and a lot of his what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of things that just things he picked up on from other quarterbacks, other greats, and he seen something that was effective for him. Everybody not gonna have the same passing style, but the thing is, Shedeur Sanders, he's a winner. He's a ball player. He's a competitor. Something that he feel like he lacking in. I'm pretty sure right now he in the offseason working on it. I bet he's working on his on the run passes, play action passes, doing things of that nature. Shedeur Sanders to me is the clear-cut #1 quarterback in this whole draft. Do not let people on this media persuade you otherwise. Just cut on the film. I read you off the stats. He broke records in the 2-year span that's been holding for years, that he did something at a program that no other player could do. And that's take his team from being complete shit to being on the mountaintop. Going from the less talked about to the most talked about. Shedeur did that. And he was the helm of that, being a quarterback. He had one of the best completion percentage of all the college football. You know what I'm saying? He broke records for passing yards. He broke records for passing touchdowns. Most pass yards in the game. Broke the record for completion percentage. That's elite. And this was coming from all the haters. All they did was hate on his whole journey. They said what he couldn't do. They said everything that he did at Jackson State he couldn't do whenever he moved up in level of competition. He moved up level of competition, moved to the Big 12, and he did better he had better stats at Colorado than he did at Jackson State. And that's all I know. So why we hating on him, man? People gotta understand that obviously, okay, Coach Prime, yes, he had his coach, he did all this and this and that and this and that. The thing is, we don't talk about the offense, the different offensive coordinators that he had to, maneuver through, manage through, and play through. And still playing at a high level. Still not turning the ball over. Still got a high completion percentage. Still threw over 7,300 yards. And this supposed to be the Big 12. D1. He won at HBCU doing this. And that's all I know, man. Shedeur Sanders, like I said, bro, you'll be a fool not to take him because I know the media got trying to paint out a picture to say he worse than this and that and that. And it's a good thing that is one thing that I took from Coach Prime that he said about his whole Colorado, Travis and, and Shedeur. You only see the media talking bad about saying that Shedeur and Travis, they got flaws, they can't do this, they can't do that, or this and that and this and that. This gonna be a problem and that's gonna be a problem. They only doing that with them two players. That just shows you how great those two players is. We haven't heard nothing negative about Cam Ward. We haven't heard nothing negative about the left end from Penn State. We haven't heard nothing bad about nobody else in the draft except for these two players that played for under Coach Prime in Colorado. They can't be the only flawed players. And I love that Coach Prime said that because he put it out in front of you on a silver platter. They made history. And that's all I really got to say about that. You'll be a fool not to say that Shedeur don't deserve to be the best quarterback in his draft, to be selected number 1 quarterback in his draft, to try to take another quarterback. You think you can find something better than Shedeur? Man, you crazy. Like I said, every place he went to, he won. Winning is not all about trophies and jujus and wham-whams. He took something that was from the mud and brought it up and won more games that this program has ever seen in years. Took them to a bowl game. They haven't been there in years. That's winning. That's a winning player right there. You mean to tell me if I went to a team that won one game, that won a total of 6 games in 10 years, and I go there and I win 10 games in one season, you can't tell me I'm not a winner. That's a winner right there. I wasn't just losing. Yes, I lost games on the way, but I'm not a loser. A loser is I don't win anything. I kept the same thing. The program was the same as it was when I came, when I left it. And it's not that. It's a whole 360. That's all I got to say, man.